In the heart of Waset, where the Nile's emerald waters cradled the life of Kemet, the sun rose with a golden hush, casting its first rays upon the temple of Amonias-Are. The air was thick with the scent of lotus blossoms, their petals unfurling like whispered prayers upon the sacred pools. Among these hallowed grounds walked Amara, daughter of Pharaoh Setnacht, her heart a secret flame burning beneath the weight of her royal mantle. She was no mere princess, but a vessel of divine will, her life pledged to the gods before her first breath. Her almond-shaped eyes, the color of polished lapis, gleamed with a quiet rebellion, though none dared name it so. Her ebony hair, woven with gold threads, cascaded beneath a diaphanous veil, and her linen gown, white as moonlight, clung to her form as she moved with the grace of a heron. Amara's mornings were bound by ritual. Each dawn, she crossed the temple's alabaster courtyard, her bare feet kissing the cool stone, to offer incense to the gods. Her voice, soft yet resonant, carried hymns to the heavens, though her thoughts wandered to forbidden shores. She was 20 summers old, her beauty a song sung in whispers by priests and nobles alike, yet her heart remained untouched until the scribe arrived. His name was Khepri, a man of no noble blood, born in the reed huts of the Nile's delta. His hands, calloused from years of carving papyrus, held a quiet strength, and his eyes, a deep amber like the desert at dusk, seemed to see beyond the mortal veil. Khepri had come to Waset to serve in the House of Life, the sacred scriptorium where knowledge was etched into eternity. He was but 23, yet his skill with the reed pen had earned him a place among the learned, a rare honor for one of humble birth. His tunic, simple linen dyed indigo, marked him as an outsider among the gilded priests, but his presence stirred the air like a breeze before a storm. On this morning, as Amara knelt before the statue of Amonias-Are, her offering of myrrh curling into the air, Khepri stood in the shadowed colonnade, his stylus poised over a scroll. He was tasked with recording the temple's offerings, but his gaze strayed to the princess. Her voice, singing the hymn of dawn, wove through his soul, each note a thread pulling him closer to a forbidden edge. He knew the laws of Kemet, her blood was divine, his but dust. Yet, in that moment, as her eyes lifted and met his, time faltered. Her lips parted, the hymn faltering for a breath, and in that silence, a spark kindled, a spark that would set their fates ablaze. Scribe called High Priest Nebwenef, his voice sharp as a flint blade, shattering the moment. Khepri bowed, his heart pounding, and returned to his scroll, but the image of Amara's gaze lingered like a star in daylight. Nebwenef, a man of 50 winters, his face etched with the weight of divine duty, approached Amara. "Daughter of the two lands, your song honors Amonias-Are, but linger not. The festival of Opet approaches, and your presence is required at the palace." Amara inclined her head, her veil shimmering in the sunlight. "As the gods will, High Priest." Her words were obedient, but her heart churned. The festival would bind her further to her fate, a marriage to Prince Ramos, heir of a vassal kingdom, to secure Kemet's borders. She had never met him, yet the thought of his touch felt like a chain. As she rose, her eyes flickered to Khepri, who stood motionless, his amber gaze fixed on his scroll. She wondered what words he wrote, what dreams he held in his quiet heart. The day unfolded in a haze of duties. Amara attended the palace, where her father, Pharaoh Setnacht, presided over councils of war and trade. His voice, deep as the Nile's current, spoke of alliances, of Ramos' arrival, of the gods' favor. Amara stood silent, her hands clasped, her thoughts drifting to the scribe. She imagined his hands, inked and steady, crafting words that might one day speak of her. She shook the thought away, chastising herself. A princess did not dream of scribes. Yet, as the sun dipped low, painting the Nile crimson, she found herself drawn back to the temple. Khepri, too, was restless. The House of Life was a labyrinth of scrolls and silence, but his mind was no longer his own. He saw her in every shadow, the curve of her cheek, the fire in her eyes. He etched her name in his heart, though he dared not write it. As twilight fell, He lingered by the temple's lotus pool, where the air was heavy with fragrance. He dipped his hands into the water, seeking clarity, when a soft step broke the silence. "Scribe," Amara's voice came, low and clear, like a note from a sacred harp. Khepri turned, his breath catching. She stood before him, her veil cast aside, her face illuminated by the fading light. "Why do you linger here when the stars rise?" Khepri's throat tightened. "The stars, my lady, hold truths the day cannot speak." His voice was steady, but his heart raced. To speak to her was to dance with danger, yet he could not turn away. Amara stepped closer, her gown whispering against the stone. "And what truths do you seek, Khepri, son of the reeds?" She spoke his name as if it were a prayer, and he felt the weight of it, a gift and a curse. "I seek only to serve," he lied, his eyes betraying him. They held hers, and in that gaze, the world fell away, the temple, the gods, the laws. There was only her and him, and the Nile's eternal song. "Then serve me with truth," she whispered, her voice trembling. "What do you see when you look upon me?" One night, as the moon hung low over Waset, Amara slipped from the palace, her heart guiding her to the temple. She found Khepri by the lotus pool, his silhouette framed against the silver water. "Khepri," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I cannot bear this cage any longer." He turned, his amber eyes burning. "Nor I, Amara. But to love you is to court death." "Then let us die 1,000 deaths," she said, stepping into his arms. The world held its breath as their lips met, a kiss that tasted of lotus and starlight, of defiance and destiny. The Nile sang, and the gods watched, and in that moment, they were eternal. Yet, in the shadows, eyes watched too. Nebwenef, ever vigilant, saw the forbidden embrace. His heart, loyal to the gods and the pharaoh, hardened. The love of Amara and Khepri was a spark, and he would ensure it did not become a flame to consume Kemet. In the golden haze of dawn, Waset stirred under the weight of its ancient gods. Amara, daughter of Pharaoh Setnacht, stood in her palace chamber, her lapis-blue eyes tracing the Nile's shimmering path beyond her balcony. Her white linen gown clung to her form, gold beads in her long black hair catching the light, her lotus necklace warm against her skin. The memory of Khepri's kiss by the lotus pool lingered, a forbidden fire that both thrilled and terrified her. Nebwenef, the high priest of Amonias, had seen them, a shadow of wrath in his leopard-skin robe. His threat to expose their love to the pharaoh loomed like a storm over the desert. Amara clutched a papyrus scroll, Khepri's words inked in delicate hieroglyphs. "My heart is yours, though the gods forbid it." She hid it beneath her bed, her lapis earrings glinting as she moved. The palace buzzed with preparations for the Opet Festival, a celebration of Amonias' divine power, where the city would unite in devotion. Amara knew it was her chance to see Khepri again, under the chaos of the festival's crowds. In the House of Life, Khepri sat among scrolls, his amber eyes distant, his indigo tunic slightly rumpled from a sleepless night. His reed pen hovered over papyrus, but his thoughts were of Amara, her defiant gaze, the softness of her lips. Nebwenef's discovery had shaken him, yet his love burned brighter than fear. He whispered to himself, "I will find her, even if it costs me everything." The palace courtyard was alive with festival preparations. Servants carried lotus garlands, their pink petals vibrant against mud-brick walls. Amara, summoned by her father, stood before Pharaoh Setnacht in the throne room. His golden crown gleamed, his white kilt pristine, but his stern face betrayed worry. "Daughter," he said, voice low, "Nebwenef speaks of your recklessness. You are to marry a prince of Nubia to secure our borders. Do not defy the gods' will." Amara's heart sank, but her lapis-blue eyes held steady, hiding her turmoil. That night, under a starlit sky, the Opet Festival began. Golden barks carried Amonias' statue through Waset streets, priests chanting, crowds cheering. Amara, dressed in her white gown with a lotus crown, slipped away from her royal escorts, her heart racing. She found Khepri in a temple garden, hidden by palm trees. His amber eyes lit up, his indigo tunic blending with the shadows. "Amara," he whispered, pulling her close, "we cannot stop this flame." Their hands entwined, the festival's music a distant pulse. They vowed to protect their love, no matter the cost. Nebwenef, however, watched from the temple of Amonias, his dark brown eyes narrowing. In his leopard-skin robe, gold ink pendant glinting, he met with a scribe loyal to him, plotting to trap Khepri. "The scribe defies Amonias," he hissed. "He will be banished, and the princess will learn obedience." In the bustling Waset market, Khepri moved cautiously, dodging merchants selling lotus flowers and lapis jewelry. His indigo tunic stood out among the colorful stalls, but he kept his head low, searching for a messenger to deliver a note to Amara. A young boy, no older than 10, agreed to carry it for a copper deban. The note read, "Meet me at the Nile's bend, where the reeds hide us at midnight." Amara, confined to the palace, received the note in secret. She gazed at her reflection in a bronze mirror, her lapis-blue eyes resolute. Slipping past guards, she reached the Nile's bend, where Khepri waited among tall reeds. The moonlight bathed them in silver, their embrace desperate yet tender. "If we're caught," Khepri murmured, "I'll take the blame." Amara shook her head, her gold beads clinking. "We face this together." Their moment was shattered by torchlight. Nebwenef's guards emerged, swords drawn. Khepri pushed Amara